Hello. Today I'm going to explain the Flux mechanics of the Magic Datapack, which are the more magical machinery, magic, magical machinery, like elements and features of the Magic Datapack. So here we go. And so first of all, this is more of an end game feature because it requires end rods. But it is very helpful and it's a very quality of life sort of thing. Um, it's more of a luxury than a necessity, but it's very fun. And so to get us started, how do we use the flux? And so flux is transferred through these end rods, um, and it uses the same energy as players. It uses the same form of mana as players, so player experience. And to transfer them, uh, or and these end rods can actually hold and transfer um, this player experience. But first, they have to be turned into conduits. And so, in order to do that, you simply place an end rod and then toss a redstone torch onto it. And here you, voila! It turns into a conduit, and you can always tell the status of a conduit if it's charged or not by this smoke. If it has some flux in it, it will turn into a flame. If it does not have any flux in it, it will not. Um, and so let's go ahead and set these up. And they will actually connect with other conduits within a certain radius, and it will actually transfer flux between them, and will always be evenly distributed. But right now we don't even have any flux in the system, so let's go ahead and put some. And in order to put some flux in a system, all you need to do is use our handy dandy lapis lazuli block, place down a conduit, and then you'll see it kind of wants us to come closer. So if we come and step in this area, it'll start sapping some of their experience and putting it in here. Now you'll see they're all happy and satisfied, as is eaten my experience and turned it into mana. But what does this do exactly? Like, what is the purpose of this? Um, well, first, you can store your experience if you're gonna die, by dumping it into these sorts of systems. Um, but we need to find a purpose for it. And so, one example, or a very practical use for it, is smelting. So if we go ahead and set up a furnace and put a conduit on top of it, um, if we put some items in it, it will actually start smelting. And it consumes some flux. It consumes one flux for every 3 turns, and one flux is equivalent to one experience point. But it's very nice. Don't have to bring coal everywhere. Constantly refill your furnaces, and it'll only fill it if it doesn't have. I don't. I don't think it will actually fuel things unless it has an item to smelt and no items in the fuel slot. But that's just a very trivial use, and furnaces aren't really that fun. So let's try something else. One interesting feature that I like to use um, is hoppers. And so hoppers are very nice in like mob farms and such. Um, but sometimes it can be a hassle because you can't get all the blocks or you can't get all the items into wait, did I just break that? No, okay. You can't get all the items into a hopper. And so you have to put down a lot. Um, but this or Flux actually can be very helpful in this situation because if you set up a conduit on top of a hopper, um, you can actually have it attract items into the hopper. And so you see I can toss down a bunch of items near it, and it will actually always automatically collect them within a certain radius. It'll just bring them straight to it, which is really nice and really fun. Another thing you can, or another feature of these is levitation. And again, this is very quality of life, but it's very fun to use, and it's actually very handy because you can fly up very high, up to around 6 stories, if you're counting stories as 3 block tall spaces, I believe. Um, and it can also act as kind of an elytra launch pad or landing pad because it will um, stifle your falls as well. Let me put some more experience in the system for you. And so you'll see that um, as I move close to it, it pushes me up a set amount, but even while just near it, I gain this passive slow fall. So if I want to gently descend down um, an area, whoop, I get slow fall that will help me. Um, and then let's see what else. Um, this is more of a niche feature. And there's still plenty of others, but I'll leave those for you to discover. They all should be listed in the design document anyways, which is linked on my GitHub. There is one that just detects entities, and so if anyone walks near it, they get clairvoyance. Um, or this provides clairvoyance, and will highlight them, so you can see if anyone is near a or near the specific conduit. And it has a fairly large range, so you can actually hide it under things. And that way, if someone's standing in front of your house getting ready to kill you, you can see them before they see you. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, it can be very expensive filling the system by constantly dumping your experience in. It can, and it can also be very scary because if you put in too much experience, well, I don't have enough. You can accidentally detonate it like this. Oh wait, let's try that again. There you go. And so you want to be careful not to just constantly stand there and dump fuel into it. You want to be very cautious. Um, but if you're tired of feeling it yourself, there's something else you can do. Um, you can actually craft a light altar that will absorb um, sunlight and turn it into flux, which can be very beneficial um, and just overall nice because then you're not spending on experience on it. And to build it, it looks something like this. For lapis lazuli blocks in the corners, gold in the middle, or on the sides. Whoop. Um, Conduit in the middle, and then this is a block of quartz. Not smooth quartz. This is just a block of quartz, and then daylight detectors on the sides. And so if you start this conduit, you'll actually see that it starts to absorb energies, and this will tell you that it's running. Now it generates it very slow, but and it will occasionally make sound. It will make a sound whenever it generates one, um, and it only generates during the day. But if you're not using your machinery all the time, or if you have a large array of these set up, it will actually fill your system quite quickly, and is overall very handy. Um, and it also won't. It is very cautious and won't dump um, too much flux into your system. It stops after a set amount, um, just to make sure it doesn't detonate anything. But overall, that's kind of the basics of it, and there you go. That's Flux.